In the opening video, welcoming you to the course, I talked a little bit about something that you may not know that much about, called instructional design. What that means is, just like an architect designs a building before it's constructed, I've invested the time in designing this course so that it has specific learning objectives and is able to show you how we will achieve those learning objectives. You're putting a lot of time and effort into this course, at least I hope you will, and I want you to be able to see exactly how each week and even within each 2-hour class, how each module of that class contributes to the overall final result. A more professional, more capable lawyer practicing in the digital age. So let me show you what this looks like. Over my shoulder is the instructional design matrix. This map allows me to lay out all of the component elements of the course. But rather than just telling you about it, let me take a moment and show you how it works. In the introductory lecture, of course, I showed you the map for the course itself, and you were able to download that overview. It showed the title, what the course is going after, and the specific learning objectives, and you'll even be able to see as the course unfolds how you will be evaluated in the work that you submit, in your participation in class, and on the final paper to demonstrate that you've achieved those learning objectives. This allows us to have a great deal of transparency into the team effort that learning involves, and it will give you the opportunity to know precisely what will be expected of you each week, what we're trying to accomplish, and it will allow us as a team to evaluate whether we're getting to the finish line for each module and each session and the overall course. So let's go into that in a little bit more detail. For each session, which is each week, we've also developed a structured process. As you can see, it'll show us the date, the title, the overview, and of the learning objectives that the course is supposed to address, we'll outline which of those learning objectives are going to be targeted in that week's class. Of course, we can't do all of the 7 or 8 learning objectives every week, but you'll know exactly where we're focusing our effort, and if it's an area you feel comfortable with, or maybe a little less comfortable, in your own mind, think about planning the time you need to master those objectives. Now, each week is divided further into individual modules, and we'll show you the structure of those in just a moment, but just to finish up, you'll see that you also will be able to see your assignment, and you'll be able to see that within that course, within that session, within that module, the kinds of things I'll be looking for to allow me to conclude that you're achieving those learning objectives. But the key here is to design the modules. And so let me open that up just at a step at a time and show you what's there. For each module, we're actually going to have the same structure repeating. We're going to talk about the duration of the module. Obviously, I'll be the instructor, the title, the overview of what the module accomplishes, and then the learning objectives within that module. So for example, if we're looking at each module, we'll be able to tell you what you'll be able to do, and we tie that back to the course learning objectives so that you can actually see a connection. This is not just wandering through the morass of the content and hopefully you get to the end. Then you'll be able to see something more, the actual learning process. And that learning process is going to lay out exactly the activities and strategies that are involved. What will you do to learn? Read, view, research, develop, listen, participate, discuss, present, and even engage in what I call quick-fire challenges. On Top Chef, a very popular cable TV show, chefs are challenged within 20 minutes to create a new dish. Within the class, we're going to have some dynamic, real-world examples of what you have to do as a thinking lawyer working on your feet at your keyboard to solve your client's problems, and we'll be sharing those experiences. As a result, for each of those learning strategies, we'll list exactly what you will be needing to do, both before the class and in the class. And that activity will be laid out so that not only at the beginning of the semester, but well in advance of each week, you can see the work that will be presented for you. And we'll also explain to you how the grading will be done. You have a list of the resources, including videos, reading assignments, materials to research, and collaboration tools such as these mapping tools that you can use in order to accomplish your work hopefully more effectively and with a little bit more ease than you might have to do in the actual world that's out there today. And finally, just so that you know it's there, there's an instructor script, which it requires me to lay out for myself and for anyone who may teach this course at a later date exactly how all those pieces fit together. And so for each of the modules within the session, that level of detail is being developed, and you'll receive a copy of the map for each of the sessions as part of the course materials for that week. This will hopefully allow you to see exactly where we are in getting from here to there for each week and across the entire course. It'll also give you the chance to give me feedback on whether the workload is appropriate or whether you feel that we're not achieving the learning objectives. As I said, education is a team effort, and we shouldn't have to wait, in my opinion, for a final exam to find out whether I've done my job or whether you've done your job to the level that we both expect, one of excellence. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and you can download a copy of the Instructional Design Matrix in your materials.